There are three important claims made by Islam about Jesus that are totally different to the Christian beliefs that reveal that the two religions are poles apart on what they say about the person of Jesus. These are that Jesus is not God, that Jesus did not die on the cross, and as a consequence of that, Jesus did not rise from the dead, which of course is implied by him not dying on the cross. I've done a number of videos on the deity of Jesus, so in this one I wish to discuss the question of, did Jesus die on the cross or did someone else die in his place? Very often a Muslim will tell you that Jesus didn't die on the cross, but rather a person who was made to look like him was put in his place. It is usually believed that it was Judas who took the place of Jesus. The reasons given are that it was not felt fitting for one of God's prophets to die by crucifixion, and also Allah wanted to rescue him and get glory for himself. Now let us think about this, because there are a number of problems with this. Here I list some of the problems. How would Allah be glorified by creating this big hoax about Jesus' crucifixion? Would this not just be a big deception? And remember, God cannot lie. Why did we have to wait 600 years for Muhammad to come along and reveal it to us? If Allah wanted to reveal his good news to the Christians through Jesus, why would he allow this hoax to take place and become a fundamental belief of the Christian church? Why would God allow Mary, the mother of Jesus, to be deceived like this? Mary is considered an important person in Islam, and yet Allah allowed her to go to her grave believing that her son had died on the cross, when according to the Quran he was with Allah in heaven. How cruel would that be of God? If Judas or someone else was on the cross instead of Jesus, then why did he not cry out loudly in his defence at every opportunity? Even though the person on the cross was dying by one of the worst ways known to man, he still managed to pray for forgiveness for those who were doing this to him. In fact, the way he died so affected the centurion that he declared that truly this was the Son of God. Would Judas have caused that response? There's also the question of the missing body. What happened to the body of Judas if it disappeared from the tomb while it was being guarded by soldiers? A Muslim might say that the apostles lied about it all afterwards. It is well known that most, if not all, of the apostles died a terrible death. Would they go through that for the lie? Let me ask a question. Which would bring the greatest glory for Allah? To rescue Jesus from the cross and all that his enemies had planned to do to him, or to allow Jesus to die on the cross and in the process rescue the whole of mankind from the power of death and deliver them from judgment, and then after that raise Jesus from the dead? A Muslim may say that, well, this is what the Quran says and we believe the Quran. But what is that based on? Where is the evidence? With the biblical account, we have prophecy to back up the claims of the Bible. We have, for example, Isaiah 52 verse 13 to the end of Isaiah 53. Just to quote a few of the verses. See, my servant will act wisely. He will be raised and lifted up and highly exalted, just as there were many who were appalled at him. His appearance was so disfigured beyond that of any human being, and his form marred beyond human likeness. And he was despised and rejected by mankind, a man of suffering and familiar with pain. But he was pierced for our transgressions, he was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was on him, and by his wounds we are healed. This whole passage is too long to go through here, but I do suggest reading it because it has the whole crucifixion account with full details of the events. For Christians, we find it a very emotional experience to read this passage. And keep in mind that this was written about 750 years before the birth of Jesus, and we have manuscripts that date back to about 150 years before Jesus. So as always, thank you for listening, and until next time, may God bless you all.